Hey, BassGeek here, and I know everybody tells you should be fishing the main lake, and you should be going offshore, and you should be fishing deep stuff, but I'm going to tell you why you better be going shallow. That's right, geeks. Now listen, you geeks know I love fishing deep water, and I love fishing offshore structure, and I love fishing just offshore. But for you geeks that love to pitch and flip and power fish, which I do too, you can still do it in the middle of the summer. There's just one thing you need to do, and that's go up the rivers, up the main contributaries. Now, if you've got grass, you don't necessarily have to do that. You can still stay out and fish pretty shallow, but you can fish grass because it creates oxygen. The reason why I fish deep all the time is because that's where the shad go, because there's not a lot of current in the lakes I fish during the summer. One place where there's always going to be oxygen, up the main creeks and up the main rivers on every single lake, because there's going to be a fresh flow of water coming in constantly. So one thing about going shallow this time of year is I do like to downsize. And why I like to downsize is because all your shad fry, your bluegill fry, all that stuff, your bass fry, they're all out there. Now, when I throw a buzzbait, am I mimicking those? No, but a lot of times what's feeding on the fry themselves are the things that the bass are feeding on. So those smaller panfish, those smaller bass, those smaller fish, predatory fish that the bigger bass are going to feed on. And making this simple adjustment may be why you're not catching bass on a buzzbait. Let me show you. That's why I love to use a downsized buzzbait, really a finesse buzzbait. But the buzzbait I'm going to talk to you about today carries a big stick, and this is called the Weed Whacker. Now, if you geeks don't remember, I run across a brand from my buddy Joey down in South Carolina. He told me it was called Brazolo, and then I made the mistake of somehow thinking they were in Arizona. Anyway, luckily the guys that own the place were super nice and have a great sense of humor. The bait company is called Brazolo Custom Baits. They're bushwhacker, which I have a ton of, and it's one of my favorite clacking style buzz baits. Hey, before we go through the different styles, what I want to do is I want to say thanks to Brazolo. They sent me some of their forward facing sonar heads. These are the TKO, and they're 100% lead. Now, if you'll look at that one, what I love about it, it's great on those sunny days because the head breaks up the light. Love these things. Make sure you go check them out. And another great thing about these buzz baits is they come in 4 different blade colors. This color is called Candy Chartreuse. You always got to have a black blade. As I call it, you've always got to have your silver blade. And my absolute favorite when it comes to a buzz bait is my gold blade. Now, what I love about this company is they love a buzz bait, and they put a lot of work into it. You know, we don't just have an R-bend, we've got a true twist loop to keep your line in place. These buzz baits are already broke in, so they've got a squeal to them as soon as you get them. They use great hooks and double barbs so your trailer stays put. But what makes the bushwhackers so great and what makes the Weed Whacker so great is that little ball. Now, they do make a wee buzz also with all the great details. This one has the R bend, but it doesn't have the little ball, so you don't get the clacking noise. Now, it's not hitting the head, it's not hitting the little arm, so it's not slowing the blade down because the ball spins and you can hear it hitting that ball. It makes an incredibly unique sound in the water. And it draws fish from a mile, especially with a finesse style buzz bait. There's a ton of different baits that you can use as a trailer, menace crawls. I'm going to use the 3-inch Rage structure bug. This thing is perfect for this. I think this is just green pumpkin. And this is one of the things that I like to do. I love the gold And I love like a watermelon red or the green pumpkin. The reason why is because it's going to mimic those bigger bluegill chasing those smaller bait fish. So all you do is thread it up on there. I'm going to do a little bit of measurement. It's going to come out between the eyes there. This is the 3-inch, I believe. Go straight through the middle. Keep it nice and straight and fat. Come right out the middle. Push it right up on that double keeper. And there you've got it. Good and straight. Good and straight. And what I love about this is that the flat bottom baits, this thing skips incredibly well. So the first knot is going to be the pitsine knot, and it's all about the tag in with these two knots, which are really the same knot. So we're going to tie this, we're going to wrap it about 5 to 6 times. And then we're holding the loop at the top, and we're just going to take that tag in and run through the top loop. But wait, we're actually going to tie a San Diego jam. So we're going to come through the top loop there, and then we're going to bring it down and come through the bottom loop. Want to moisten that, cinch it down, and there you have a San Diego jam. Now, why I like a San Diego jam over a pitsine if I'm around, say, debris in the water or grass, is because the tag end comes out the bottom side of the knot. But it's basically the same thing. Pitsine, you just go through the top loop. San Diego jam, the top, then the bottom. Cut the tag in, let's go fishing. So rod, reel, line setup. Look guys, I love a high speed reel. Now I will tell you something that I've seen the guys from Brazolo talk about. Don't overpower your buzzbait. A lot of times they can cause you to miss bass if you're fishing too fast. For me, I'm generally a slow reeler, so an 8-1 is nice, but I'd probably recommend something in the 7s for most everybody else. This is an old Daiwa Tula R-type. I put it on, I'm a mono guy. I fish such super clear water. I'm a straight mono guy. The water, as you can tell, is pretty green. So, you know, I'm always throwing in that clear green color too. And I'm gonna throw anywhere from 14 to 17 depending on how much cover I'm around. The heavier will keep it floating better, but you know, the one thing about mono, I probably do recommend for most of you guys to throw it on at least a braid to mono leader. But I've done this for years, so I'm just kind of used to it. You do it the way you want to do it as far as that goes. Now, I'm throwing it on a TFO Taction. I do like a little bit longer. This is a medium heavy. And I think this thing only weighs like 3/16, somewhere in there. And so this is a medium heavy plus. It's a fast 7'5", but I can still cast this bad boy a mile, even though it's only rated for a 1/2 ounce. So there's a few tips I can give you about fishing a buzzbait. And a buzzbait is really one of my favorite top waters to fish. Maybe it's because I don't get to fish it a whole lot in the ultra clear water that I fish, but now this little pup right here is going to change that for me. Accuracy, the longer the rod, the less accurate you're going to be. So if you're casting into a lot of cover, I've been casting and doing this for a lot of years. You know, I'm okay with a 7.5 rod. If you're starting out and you're really trying to get it into some cover, you're skipping, doing those sorts of things, you might want to start out with a 7-foot rod. But one of the reasons why I love a longer rod is because it helps me get that bait started early, because what I'm going to do when I make that cast is I'm actually going to cast it out there. I'm going to stop it with my thumb right as it's hitting the water, and as I raise my rod tip, that bait is going to be moving immediately. And that's one of the big keys, at least to me, about catching bass on a buzzbait, is have that bait moving as soon as it hits the water and have that bait moving at a consistent pace throughout the retrieve. So for me, I love fishing a buzzbait pretty much anywhere. I mean, you can really fish it anywhere, around docks, around wood. I'm going to fish it a lot of times around blowdowns and places just like you see behind me here. And another thing, I'm going to make multiple casts to a lot of those pieces of structure, because in my lakes, those bass are going to come up. So when you find those sweet spots, sometimes you got to make a cast or two to get those bass to come up and hit this thing. But again, that's what makes the sound so great. They're going to come get it. Now let's talk about hook set. For me, again, even though it's a weed whacker, I'm going to side set hook this when they come up. I'm going to wait till I feel the tension. I'm going to set it to the side. I'm going to keep my rod tip down, and I'm going to drag them into the boat. Good thing is, this thing's got a good strong hook on it. Set it like you live, hard. Put them in the boat, either on your thumb or boat hop them. I'd recommend, to keep from bending it out too much, put them on your thumb. That's why you use the weed whacker, boys and girls. Hey geeks, you know I love finding these small companies. Not that Brazolo is a small company by any means, but man, they do things right. So make sure you go check them out. There'll be links in the description below. Go check out the weed whacker. You guys are going to have a ton of fun. It catches big fish. You can fish it anywhere from ponds to lakes to rivers to streams. If there's water and there's bass, this is going to go catch them. Hey, if you want to learn more about fishing buzzbaits, you can check these two videos out. Like it if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe. 100% Watch Squad. You geeks know I love you. All you geeks rock.